That one's my audio capture. And that works. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. It's season 13. We are starting out tonight strong.
As they do go side by side. It is the formation lap almost done. They will look, all eyes to the lights. That's going to be an amazing start.
And we have a crash in turn 1 already. What's going on? On to the bus stop straight. Goes for it around the outside.
More contact behind. That is huge. A couple of gainers in that one.
She's given it everything. She has to. I'm not sure that it's over yet, though.
This is the last opportunity. We're off and away for SRA.
Hello and welcome to round 2 of season 14 in Division 1 of SRA's GT3 Team Series. I am Stephanie Fisher. I am joined in the booth with Jackson Lambros and Selena Boonstra. Say hi.
Hello, hello. We are back for round 2. I'm looking forward to this one.
It's really, really good to be here. I've heard such amazing things about SRA and the people. I've been calling sim racing for over 2 years now, and SRA has welcomed me with open arms. These two in the booth have been incredibly welcoming so far, so excited to get to work, and guys, it looks like we've got a really, really good show ahead of us.
Indeed, I agree with that one. And knowing Indianapolis is the track, one of the tracks of all tracks that are pretty much notoriously known for that T1 carnage. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight, considering D1 and them being the fastest division. I'm
right.
Iffy. Let's see what happens. Hopefully no turn 1 carnage or lap 1, but Indianapolis, quite the interesting track. And I'm not a personal favorite of it.
Selena, I thought we were at Coda tonight.
Well, that we are. But I think there's a great observation.
That's great.
You're trying to make up for last week.
See, this
you're doing great, but so the great news for you, Selena, is turn 1 is almost a carbon copy, and that it is almost custom made for you to send it into the top ropes. A complicated second sector followed by a long back straightaway, then some fancy switchbacks. If you really think about it, girls, it's Indy in a different costume. I'm not delusional at all by making that point.
Well, it is in America.
Yeah, it's still America, but this is exactly what happens when the D1 stream a week ago just didn't go to plan. So I'm like, I'm still in Indianapolis, so yep, we're off to a great start.
Hey, look, man, Scuff adds character. Scuff adds character, and we're bringing it to you.
We're in Indianapolis.
Yep, just a different look in Indianapolis, but it's Indianapolis on the way.
But yes. Circuit of the Americas we are at, but we are still in the United States of America, Texas. So, yep, not too much about there when we're considering countries, but aside from the fact that it's a long track and there are long straights, which is, I believe it is actually pretty good with the Porsche, as so I've heard, but me and my lack of skill here. But anyway, aside from the point...
Let me throw this at you, Selena, because it's a perfect example of the Herman Tilke track where there are seas of open concrete, not a lot of physical slaps if you're going outside of track boundaries, right? So from the driver's perspective, how difficult is it for you to kind of know the limits and fully understand where you can push and where you can run as wide as possible? Granted, these are D1 guys, and they're going to know this track like a Guitar Hero track, but what's the experience been like for you when it comes to these track limits?
Well, the practice race actually yesterday, not too well. I racked up 2 warnings on the first 2 laps, so, I mean, honestly, for Division 1, I think that a lot of them really do need to be careful instead of like racking up and pushing so hard on the first couple of laps, just because when you do that, then you're pretty much setting yourself up for a drive-through for that one extra, what do you call it, the ticket for that drive-through penalty coming through. So for me, it varies. Like my practice hasn't been up to par, but with all the practice and all that. You just really got to know the limits, and the limits are very thin here at this track. And speaking of notoriously known, Coda is, and also Power Car 2 is just one of those tracks that have those very strict track limit warnings. So
Right.
a lot of the drivers must be careful and be wary on the first couple of laps, especially.
Second division on track right now for the first half of qualifying. Watching Danny Durance in that purple, white, and green McLaren 720 get up to pace. There's a hefty use of track limits there, the final two corners, as they will get on the loud pedal and get set for the first at pace laps here. Up the hill into turn number 1 as we ride on board here. Heavy braking into the pike. Turn 1 up the hill. Then tiptoe back on the throttle as you work down the hills. Up into the S's. This is where you're really going to be asking a lot in terms of track limits. Shades of Suzuka, Silverstone. Such satisfying corners to get right. A lap absolutely ruined, though, if you're offline.
Yeah, especially the S's. That like whole segment alone is like quite the doozy one. And like if you're just so much on power the whole time and not careful, again, those track limits, they're always there waiting for you. Like just biting like right at you tooth and nail. So that's definitely one of the corners to look out for.
Another late braking zone, then onto one of the longest straightaways we have here in season 14, getting almost to 180 here in this McLaren. Back onto the anchors, very big braking point. You can watch the entire car kind of pitch forward, and you can see Danny there maybe getting a little bit too big of a chunk off of the front curb there, Selena.
Oh, yeah. Just, and I gotta say, with that, there's also the triangle, or actually the pyramids, or if you want to call it triangle curbs, also the sausage curbs too. At a certain angle you take them, your car can fly. And I mean literally. It's interesting with the ACC physics, but anyway, aside from the point, those pyramid curbs is also like, it can be really deadly too. And the angle that you point the car's nose, you really, honestly, you just gotta avoid those. I mean, at least for me, Coda's an interesting track. Curbs, the sausage curbs, and it's got everything. Track limit warnings. I realize what I'm saying is like me really on my Coda hate bias.
it's a divisive track. It is absolutely a divisive track.
It really is. Like, there's just so many things with it. But then, like, even that 90, I think more than 90 degrees, like, going on that back straight, that corner, you gotta, like, miss that pyramid curb, because it's so brutal once the tires hit it. It's like, whoa, unsettles the car, or, like, cars there and all that. But, yeah, it's so many things.
Landon Drebes in that 911 about to get on the board. It's Michael Landry quickest so far with a 2:04.830. He has the quickest Sector 2. Sector 1 goes to Marchland. Sector 3 to Mastillo. Good mix of OEMs here on the provisional pole. A lot of different manufacturers finding different pace here in Austin. Should also mention, if you've noticed, it's a night race, and obviously we have a couple of lights here on track, but it's certainly not an arena track like you might. It's hard for me to find a fully lit arena track, maybe Misano or a couple other places in ACC, but night racing, always a challenge here in ACC, guys.
Yes, oh, for sure. Especially those tracks too. Like, even Valencia last season, it was really tough. Like, no matter how many laps you do with your car, like, on that track, it's there's no lighting there. Like, it's so hard to, like, when you're following a car, like, behind that, like, it's just so hard to figure out your braking points and, like, to see, and, like, it's so hard. But on Coda, it's a wider track, so, but even then, braking points, it's gonna be tough. But I will say, at least it's at night, so I'm not too salty about that.
Yep.
I love my night races. It's a whole different experience, and I love that.
It's a very different ball game, and in the
It really
amount
is.
the track changes, your focus points, your brake
Yep.
markers, the way you approach it is so different, which is
It
why,
is.
you know, I feel like if you ask these guys how they approach it, they do it in our own servers for a reason, because running it in the day just isn't the same. Got about 2.5 minutes here remaining for silver qualifying. Marc-Antoine Landry still up front. Danny Durrance finding pace, though, in that McLaren 720. Gets to a 2:46, or excuse me, gets about half a second off pace. Landry still in an island. There's Landon Drebs getting up into second in that 350 Porsche. Brian Anderson provisionally fourth. And as I say that, Marc-Antoine Landry adding more on top there in that Mustang.
Yeah, I noticed before the stream, we're kind of looking down the list, and there's an awful lot of Mustangs in D1 this season, I gotta say.
There is. Like, I think it's the Mustang Cup this season, because, wow, that's a lot of Mustangs. And I think, if I remember correctly, my interesting short memory brain, I think there's quite a bit of Mustangs in D2 as well. So it's, like, interesting. Gotta have more Porsches to represent.
No, but well, it wasn't quite as imbalanced as I saw. Like, we were kind of like glancing through the rosters through the different divisions, but it was more prominent in D1 than any other division.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, and I think there's absolutely an emphasis on car selection when you look at the schedule, guys, because we open up this calendar with an American kind of 1-2 punch, and it's two of the longest straightaways in ACC. And balance of performance is going to do its thing naturally, but straight line, when it comes to straight line, the Mustang is absolutely undefeated. We know that's its strong suit. I don't know where you girls are at when if you've had seat time in that car, but it's an absolute beast in the corners, something that you kind of need to drive on edge all the time in the forms of, in the words of my friend Greg Cachadorian, if you're not driving it like it's going to kill you, you're not driving it right. But an absolute challenge in the corners, but an absolute pleasure on the straightaways. Franco Sanchez driving the other favorite here. McLaren's always been a very McLaren-heavy field here. But just 30 seconds from the checkered flag coming out right now. Landry over Drebs. Jean-Luc Marchland in that other McLaren getting into the provisional podium. Danny Durrance in fourth.
Yep, and as they're finishing up, the golds will soon be going out in a few seconds. Some of these guys might be able to make one more lap going around if they're just passing the start-finish straight.
Big wiggle there.
Selena and I are both Porsche-leaning drivers.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know why you intentionally make your lives harder by doing that, but I salute you nonetheless. Top Porsche right now, Landon Drebs. Checkered flag out here for... Remind me how we divide this, girls, because our top class is technically
gold.
Alien, but we refer to it as gold.
Well, every division is divided into gold and silver.
Right.
Not quite 50-50, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So the D1 doesn't differentiate three. So you have your aliens, which... Selena, you probably remember how they get their little special little alien tag.
Yes, there's on the leaderboards where it's divided into alien times, which on the, I mean, I guess usually it would be from qualifying times, but less fuel, less weight, which more speed. So, as the theory goes. But the little alien tag you see on the leaderboards you get that alien time, you are faster than fast can be. But because like it's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you're an alien, you're still gonna be in Division 1. But essentially, the gold and the silvers are just mixed because they're
Right.
divided because of the different times that they do, and it also is nice to have a class rate to race against your own class as well, just so it provides more racing. And let's just say if one of the silvers, like there's a silver driver on top, it's nice that they've won that in the silver class. But I have seen a silver driver win overall, and I say that from, I believe it was season 9, I think it was, where a silver driver actually won overall. And from experience, I came in P2 overall, so speaking from experience, that does happen. But it's nice to have gold and silver where we can just battle it out against each other instead of overall, like every single, like in this case 50 drivers, where if it was just all one class, it would just be like a kind of lack of motivation thing. So where it's divided, it provides great racing.
Jeff Spangler kicking off the alien invasion in the second half here of qualifying in that prime McLaren. And yeah, guys, I'm counting the entry list here for this weekend, and I'm running out of fingers when it comes to Mustangs here in the top division of the field. You've got a Lambo in there, and Mr. Sir and Michael Mooning, Nissan GTR with Tim Flaminger, Dan Cran, and Gomer Wilson in a couple M4s, but a very, very Mustang-heavy field, which should be a surprise to nobody.
No, I just have to know Jeff Spangler's really nice livery. Can I make a little shout out to that? Isn't it pretty?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I love it. Madhouse, let's go.
Yeah.
No bias there.
None whatsoever.
But exactly, yeah.
Running
but
the
that livery
media,
is so nice.
The media movie themed liveries for season 14 here. A lot of different ways people have approached it. You know, we have album art, we have a lot of movie inspired cars. We saw the Jurassic Park McLaren earlier on, which, I mean, you could have just done Rexy, man, like potato, but
right. Exactly.
I mean, a lot of different ways. I think I saw Wonder Bread, Ricky Bobby Mustang. Should see a Mellow Yellow Cole Trickle one in here somewhere probably, but that is something I absolutely love about this league, the ability to get together and do something cool like that and have a themed one and have a whole grid go off of a theme like that. I'm curious what Kevin Blanchett is going for, but the fact that he isn't running number 420 is kind of confusing me.
He's big. Not sure. I'm gonna have a hard time resisting calling him Kate Blanchett. I know what it's supposed to be.
Can you share with the classroom?
I guess it's legal in most states now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's legal in Canada.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be.
Cool.
Botanical.
Yeah, got it. Ganjmobile. Yeah, Ganjmobile. Gotcha.
It's that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If that area code is his number, then absolutely. 5 minutes and change here in qualifying for round 2 at Coda. Jackson Lambros, Selena Boonstra, Steph Fisher joining us and running the cameras. An absolutely jam-packed crowd here. Almost 4950 cars joining us. The cream of the crop of the Sim Racing Alliance, making the trek down south from Indianapolis as we continue this American kick to start off season number 14. On board with Thiago Duarte here, currently running 4th in that Mustang, the 929. Hard on the anchors. Just that little bit of downhill slope, asking a little bit more from those Pirelli P0s on the front. And I don't want to say it's harder on the car because clearly there's no struggle with these guys, but you're definitely losing a smidgen of stability, but maximizing that entry angle when you're running up on the curb and getting on the binders.
And P1 has been taken by Rados with a 204.187.
Mustang 1-2 right now, but no one has trumped Landry quite yet. I think we're still waiting for a couple of green flag laps to come in. And I would bet that a couple guys have maybe opted to skip the banker lap and go straight off for one that's all out here. As we see now, Thiago Dinarte across the line into P3, now an improvement. Mustang 1, 2, 3, 4. Jeremy Mercer in 4th. Guy Manperson up into 6th.
Oh.
And the Mustang invasion is absolutely in full swing here.
Oh, actually, Gomer Wilson taking P4. Actually breaking ties with the 1, 2, 3, 4 Ford battle, but oh, well, there we go. And Porsche in P6. Love to see that. Up in the top 10. But we also have Michael Menning in P7 as well, in the number 18 Lamborghini. And so, yeah, a little bit of more variation until you get more Mustangs and more Mustangs. But we shall see what the race unfolds. With 6 seconds, exactly 2 minutes on the clock remaining for the gold driver qualifying.
It'll be interesting to see what Menning can do in this Lambo as our resident fast boy.
Yep. An alien, and who has also competed in a lot of esports events, and he is fast. Very, very fast, as we all know.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll just leave it at that.
Good delta right now, about 3/10 up from his last. That will be good for 3rd overall right now. Still a little bit of few more opportunities here to improve as he works through the pyramid. But as we say that, Rados on his own right now also trying to improve. Hasn't quite found the pace yet, has a couple more corners. Still about 0.35 seconds up. Out of the final corner here. Tiptoes back on the throttles, being careful around the marbles. Comes to the line, it's best for 5th overall. Hey, how about Landry right now still holding on to 2nd overall? Next best silver back in 7th in the form of Drebes. So good stuff right now for the 350 and the 781.
Talk up anybody doing well here on those few weird people that actually like this track.
I don't get why people hate this track. Maybe I haven't driven enough here to the point where I hate it. But it gives you, it's so Suzuka-esque for me in that it's flowy. It tests every single aspect of the car. You could argue that maybe it's not as punishing as Suzuka, where, you know, traditionally Armco and Grass is there to punish you, as we see one of the Aston Martins going very off further back there. I want to say that was, might have been Anderson. But no, not nearly as punishing in terms of track limits.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with it. But I think it's just really the aspect of the strict track limits, just because, and then it's like the hot lapping alone is the bad part. The racing, right. I think, is fun. Like, just like at Indy. Like, I cannot stand hot lapping Indy, but I do actually enjoy the racing there. And it's the same thing with Coda and even Polar Card. But the 6 hours of Polar Card, though, that was an interesting one in the rain, as those who remember that race, actually also SRA Endurance Series. But yeah, that one too, it can be really fun, also racing as well.
Did you say the same thing about Red Bull Ring?
Yes. No, actually Red Bull Ring is really fun hot lapping and racing. That's a good track.
Yes, I agree. I think
Yeah.
I hate this track simply because somebody made it the qualifying track one season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
God. Yeah,
Yep,
I'll
and we're
allow
here
that.
now.
I'll allow that.
Yeah, I hear a thanks, Doug, from behind me.
Yeah.
Checkered
We blame
flag out
him.
in qualifying. It'll be Andrew Rados leading us off here in that 120 Mustang alongside Mark Antoine Landry. Mustang 1, 2, 3, guys.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
No, not at all.
Yeah, not surprised at all.
Yeah, so
At least there's a Mr. Sir in the Lambo, but breaking up that little Mustang thing.
6 of the top 10 provisionally is going to be your top 10. Or 6 of the top 10 is Mustangs. I can English.
Yep.
Let's take a look at your teams. Let's take a look at your standings really quick. It's Michael Manning in first right now, getting that initial win at Indy last week. Jacob Palmieri in second. Andrew Rados in third. Jeremy Mercer fourth. Mr. Sir, that Lambo rolling off in fourth, looking for an improvement in fifth. Peter O'Brien sixth. Jeff Spangler in seventh. Guy Manperson in eighth. And on pole here, really good opportunity for Mark Antoine Landry for Race Forge. Still ahead of Tyler Carr, who I cannot find anywhere, rolling off 24th today, guys.
Yep. So, to note, Mark Antoine Landry is our silver leader, even though he's P9 on the overall standings. He would be the leader for the silver division, followed by Horintas Butkus and Joseph German currently, and Donovan Colton, who I think is new to D1 this season. Evan Kim right behind him in his favored Lexus. Yeah. We'll take a quick look at the team standings while we wait for the whatever that's called, where they're rolling around the track going nowhere.
Waiting for the command. Michael Manning still leading. Shocker to no one. It's going to be a lot of the same, but I just get to say the team names and say what I like. Rocket Racers up front. The horse girls for the Mustang is perfect, dude. Peter O'Brien, amazing. Jacob, I'm going to go disappointed dad with Mercedes nuts. Guy Manperson, hey, this isn't my chunks. Okay. Race 4G Sports in fifth. Madhouse, no bias in this broadcast booth at all for Madhouse Racing and Jeff Spangler. NWSR Daddies, Kevin Blanchett in seventh. RER Juicy with Dan Cran in eighth. P9 is disc qualified Qdoba or OBDA XFRT with Anton Rusevich. And leading in silvers is Joris Butkus for Quasar, alongside Michael Landry.
We'll hop back
a couple
over
of guys
as
I'm
they
familiar
are
with. Yep.
getting ready to go in this. Look, it's nighttime. They have their lights on even.
Ooh. We see the and later we can see the laser beams in the background. Pew pew pew. Just a nice little light show, and hopefully not distract anybody. But I mean, hey, we're the commenters; we'll be able to see that. So
exactly.
Just coming by.
So a 1 hour race ahead of us, guys, and pit window pretty much opens just a couple of seconds after the green flag. You don't need to take, no need to take fuel. You're actually not allowed to take fuel. Tires, you can do whatever you like. I'll say this, it's a racy track, but definitely dirty air will be a factor if you get yourself in the wrong position. What do you guys like for strategy here?
I mean, I'd say probably maybe the undercut. I'd say I'd probably go for it. I mean, unless depending if you're stuck behind another car who's also battling another car, then, and if you lose a lot of time to those said cars, then definitely the undercut would be the play. And I think even just maybe in general, just to avoid further incidents, potential incidents in the future, maybe, but I think probably the undercut would be the overall go-to.
Steph?
Being in the booth.
Yes,
my
sorry,
strategy.
your job.
Fair enough.
Makes sense, yes. We are the commentators once again. We're not racing until tomorrow.
No,
Oh, man.
no. I will confess, I've actually never raced here. I have avoided it.
Really?
Yep.
I won't say that's
Thoroughly.
necessarily
Yeah, I
a
feel that, though.
bad thing, as I feel like, again, so divided when it comes to racing here, and everybody either saying it's the best thing since sliced bread, or it is just hell on earth. So, only one way to find out, I guess.
It's
Yeah,
grueling
I
track,
can-
what can I say?
I can definitely see the potential of it being a fun track to race on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think just because the racing is just, it makes any track fun, no matter how terrible the track is. Like, the racing at the end of the day is just always there, and anything can happen, which makes it very exciting.
I believe we have trouble here for the 17. That's Brandon Chan, who is actually teleported back to the pit lanes there in that 17 Ferrari 296. We'll have to see if that's something he can get resolved and get back out on track. Couple of penalties earlier on, a couple no qualifying, and a couple of warnings from last weekend, but no super hard slaps on the wrist after Indy. That being said, we know the level of chaos that turn 1 here at Circuit of the Americas can provide.
Oh,
How
yeah.
hungry are guys going to want to be when it comes to a 50-car field?
And how many cars are going to go very well out of the track limits at turn 1? Because that has happened in more than a plethora of times, countless of times. Like, even in real life, that just turn 1, lap 1 things. But we shall see what happens.
Rados on the inside in the 120. Landry on the outside for silver in the 781. Can the Lambos, can the Porsches bring anything to the Mustangs? Let's find out. Let's go racing in the Lone Star State. Good jump to the inside by Andrew Rados. Relatively clean at the front row. Check up there for Mr. Sir as Mercer gets up to the inside. Now a little bit of a challenge as Landry takes that lead and manages to work himself to the front of the field, still side by side further back. One car showing up as yellow further back, but a relatively clean start as everybody works up and resumes into the S's.
Actually, on the note of clean, Landon Draves, it looked like for a moment he got spun around, so he lost a good chunk of positions. Currently right beside by your man. Squeezes right through and actually gets through cleanly behind Jeff Spangler.
That's German working around Drebes here. Some really, really good stuff here. This is the battle for 15th. As a little bit of a look now goes to the outside. Still side by side here. How bold are you going to be on the binders here? Still plenty of racing. You can't win a race on lap 1, but you can certainly make yourself look like an idiot. Couple of looks to the inside further back. Mustang battle rages on here. One gets really checked up further back. That's the Lambo of Manning, who got a little bit of a shoulder there. Meanwhile, Rusevich continuing to feel the pressure. Ooh, a little bit of contact further back there. I think that was the Porsche of Drebs making contact with Spangler. So we get to lap 1 in the books, and it's the silver driver of Landry leading everybody. We're watching him right now in that Ricky Bobby colored number 781. And a little bit of things out driving early on. No huge, massive pile up, though. So I'll take that.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good start.
Yeah, it was very clean, actually. Very well executed.
Joseph German now trying to
Bumps in the
get
back,
to work. Oh, yeah, a little bit more here.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Racing does what racing does.
Yay.
But yeah, it's looking on lap 2. Things are looking good as everyone just slithers right through the S's.
That's such a apt description of this. It really did look like they're slithering through.
It really does. Like you see it, like the whole train of cars, like right through the S's. It's
A little bit of a checkup over here for Tyler Carr. Max Simmons in front there. Then it's Michael Formato and Zach Martin behind in that BMW, trying to bring the fight to these Mustangs. Could be an opportunity for a look to the inside. Maybe a little bit of a dummy sold there. Ooh, Carr goes very, very wide there. That's going to open up the gap now for Formato. Side by side down the back straightaway. This is going to let Zach Martin get out the popcorn and try to get a chance. He's in the draft now of Tyler Carr. Formato lines up. It might be 2 positions lost now as through goes Zach Martin. And some big, big tangles up here in the mid-pack. Not quite clear. Now he gets it.
Wilson having a little battle with in between Kurt LeMay and Eric Marecki, and the whole train continues from behind them, but a little bit of a moment on the back straight, but things seem to have sorted for at least for now, as Eric Marecki gets a little bit closer, tries to fake a move. Tight on the apex, going out.
Whoop, that's not a good
See if we can
camera
get
angle.
that slipstream behind
Sorry.
Kurt LeMay and Porsche. No worries.
You're good. That's Brian Anderson behind in the Aston Martin. Arjun Lakshmi Narasimhan, or Arjun as we just like to call him, a little bit further behind. Yeah, that Jurassic Park McLaren of Marecki right on the bumper right now of Kurt LeMay.
A lot of close battles as well, but then again, this is lap 2. Everyone just tight, close, hoping not to, as I mentioned earlier, with the track limits, as that is very common at this track.
Yep,
as well.
Here's Andrew Wilson. You say that, Selena, but this is a big track too, right? It's 50 cars though. How much can it really fan out?
Yeah, and like it is a large track, which also there's a lot of space for side-by-side
big trouble there.
racing as well.
Jean-Luc Marchelin loses it on the brakes there, and he's going to lose numerous positions here. Here he comes back again, gets a really good exit, I guess now. Gets to the back of Eric Marecki side by side. I'm not sure if that would be a penalty. We obviously don't have live stewarding here. I would question the safety maybe of that rejoin. He sails around and now lines up behind Kurt LeMay side by side at the end of the back straightaway here. Some fangs out driving is absolutely justified here. Really, really good driving here. Marecki holding him off side by side into the pyramids. Tries to make the outside work there for Anderson, but can't get it done.
We'll keep an eye on that while we go up and check on Peter O'Brien, who's been sneaking up on John Laz for a little while here.
Biggest movers so far. Flaminger gaining 16 positions from last. Further up the field, you've got some big movers as well. Arjun up 8. Michael Formato also up 8 as well. Dornell's up 4. So some really, really big moves so far, guys.
There are. Now,
watch.
I have to admit, I like Peter O'Brien's car colors. They're really pretty. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's pretty.
I agree, yeah.
That the white and the white and gold there behind.
Yeah, with that little bit of purple.
Yeah, I actually like that color. That's nice. I really like that. You know, clean and simple.
But it's a wedding color, so I'm like, every time I see that color combination, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. That looks really nice. Just on Peter O'Brien's Mustang, yeah.
Yeah, it's well done too.
It really is, yeah.
3-car stampede there Further up ahead, this is way back, excuse me, Jorge Blasini Rivera under fire. Ivan McCall jamming it to the outside. If he can hold the bumper out, he could make the switch back work. He's not quite there, as Jorge trying to make that as wide as possible. Ivan McCrow and that Aston Martin trying to get through. Plenty of cars eager for position as well. Further up behind, a big spin of flames as David Mastillo looks to the inside. 2 Ferrari side by side. Mark Robinson as well. And some very, very eager driving here. Selena, I know that it's early in the race and you've still got guys, you want to make these positions while they're in front of you. But you're making some really expensive moves here early on in the race, and I almost feel like it would make more sense to just line up and work together and see if maybe you can get to the front as a freight train.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, here's an example. We got Jason Allen and Evan Kim, who are seeming to work together in pursuit of John Crown and his... Robeson and John Crown. But for a moment, there was like a little bit of I believe there was like a little bit of a squabble. But, yeah, I believe, like, just...
Oh, they are teammates.
Yeah. So they're definitely going to be working together on that note, and hopefully just, like, yeah, I'm going to use the word again, slither through, and especially slithering through the S's, working as a team, and just take their time, really, whatever unfolds, because definitely at Coda, things can happen.
Drop your other ways to say slither in the chat here. Quick update from pit lane. Diego Paul Fimbres Casas taking an early stop just when you think you've heard the longest name of all time. Further up ahead, Andrew Rados now applying pressure back to the leader in silver, Marc-Antoine Landry. Again, still plenty of time. I think he's exactly where he wants to be here, guys. There's a little bit of pressure further back from Thiago Donarde, but Jeremy Mercer is battling with him for that bottom spot on the podium. So I think it's absolutely the patience game between these two, as we still have plenty, 50 minutes just under now of driving.
Mastillo going for, keeping Jason Allen behind, Robeson on the outside, now on the inside, gets the inside of the next corner, but does he still stick it?
2x2 further back, a little bit of a wiggle there. Mark Robinson, a big dive to the inside. Kim tries to stick it around the outside. He can't make it work. Trouble further ahead.
No.
That's the Aston Martin of Ivan McCrow. Ivan McCrow gets checked up, maybe contact there, I believe, with Victor Diaz. And the man who is doing so well attacking at first, then defending, will have front-end damage on that AMR V8 Vantage. Not something you want to have this early. Here's 37th right now. David Mastillo trying to clear that lone Lexus of Jason Allen. I would say a lot of similar traits to the Mustang that RCF has. Pushrod suspension, hefty V8. Good battle here into the S's. Door checked absolutely there from Max Simmons, excuse me, as he absolutely gave it to Michael Formato. Forced him to kind of take the shortcut there through the S's and gets back in line. That's Jorge Blasini Rivera further back there in 35th. As Michael Formato has now
to the
rejoined.
front quick as they're looking to...
Big dive to the inside here, yes! Oh my goodness, thank you, Steph. Good stuff here. This is for the lead. A little bit of a dummy being sold there by Andrew Rados. Couldn't get it done. So maybe this move coming a little bit earlier than we thought. Tell you what, I think this is maybe knowing that the silver guys aren't able to get that pace out of these cars in the long run, and you can see just to the left of your screen here, Thiago Donarde closing that gap now. So I think there's maybe a little bit of urgency here from Andrew Rados, knowing I've got to clear this guy as soon as possible, because if not, Thiago's going to get to my rear bumper. He's going to have a really, really good opportunity here as they come across the stripe tucked into the slipstream. Are we going to see a move here up the hill into turn number 1? A little bit of a move to the inside.
Oh,
Here it comes on the anchors.
Oh, he's setting up. He's on the inside. But no, Michael Landry has the inside. And he's going to defend that right away.
Oh, here's the switchback, though.
But it's not
from
done
Rados.
yet.
Side by side, a carbon copy of what we saw earlier a lap ago. And all this has done is absolutely bring Thiago into the fight. He has a look, but he can't get it done now. 2, 3, 4 car freight train as Jeremy Mercer now has a seat at the table. So some great defense here from Michael Landry has been the absolute opposite of what Andrew Rados has wanted, as all of the gold guys have joined the conversation now.
If I was Michael, I'd definitely be feeling the pressure right now. You got a bunch of gold guys right behind you, and you're just sitting up there in silver, just hoping and praying to keep everybody behind and execute the pit stop perfectly, because you cannot make a mistake in the pit stops. And I believe that pit lane is pretty long, but in comparison,
a little bit of a
But-
wave there made by looks to the inside. Rados now feeling that pressure once again from Thiago Denarde, as maybe a little bit of a peek to the outside here as they work through the pyramids. A lot of different lines you can choose, a lot of different places you can make the car stick. That doesn't mean you'll necessarily get that pass done. By the way, the next best silver guy is all the way back in 14th. It's Landon Drebes, and he's currently going at it with Joseph German for 14th and 15th.
Yeah, we have quite a few battles that have been going on. I've been watching Jacob Palmieri move up a little bit here, getting past a few people. It's just been a lot of action up in the front that have been hesitant to move from. Also, further back in the field, you've got Dunham, Moffitt, Flamger, Martin, all battling away down in 29 to 33. So we'll visit them should this spread out.
The beauty of having 50 cars on track is that there is seemingly always something going on. Rados and Denarde both go a little bit wide there through turn number 1, and that's let Landry stretch out just a little bit more here. Absolutely not out of the woods, though. And I would say
you also see Mr. Sir, Guy Manperson, Anton Rushevic all getting reeled in short order, as them fighting up there is going to slow those top 4 guys down.
So what is now, what was hoping to be just a 1 car, 1 move ordeal for Andrew Wadon has now evolved into a 5 car, 6 car freight train now, as Mr. Sir, a bull in a sea, a literal ocean of Mustangs. 1st to 4th, then 6th and 7th. You got Gomer Wilson now in 8th in that M4, another Lambo in Michael Manning, and then Jacob Palmieri. How about that? The Italian working his way from well outside the top 10, now getting into, well, fighting hard for single-digit positions here. He's trying to get that lone Mercedes AMG by that Huracan of Michael Manning.
It's just crazy to look at. See all the Mustangs. Go ahead, Seth.
Well, I was just seeing, it looked like Drebes had gone off, but I could be incorrect.
Maybe a little bit of contact. Yep.
Oh,
ooh, straightens him out, though.
No.
Wow, that was...
Ouch. Oh.
If you had to have contact, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
Short track racing style move there of giving him the chrome horn in the back and then hitting the front fender to kind of be like, hey, my bad, but, you know, we'll sort it out here. Rados with another great opportunity here. Don't think there's that level of boldness yet to make a look to the inside. Still not close enough, guys.
It was a little bit further this lap as was the previous lap, so there's no room to make an overtake. As he's
hello.
7th behind.
Peter O'Brien to the middle. An absolute monster move there from Cran, who from the top rope jams it to the outside. In more Mustang v Mustang crimes here, side by side. Excuse me, Cran's in the BMW there. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there as everybody's struggling for grip. Here comes Durant now in the Joker car there, the Madhouse machine. A 3-car battle here for 13th. Some really, really good stuff here. As these guys, even though we've got 42 minutes on the clock, they're driving like there's 2 minutes to go.
Well, it makes it good for us.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I'm not, you see me complaining?
We're
No,
here
thank
for
you.
the
Good show.
entertainment. We
Rados
love it.
keeps creeping up on Landry, and every time I go up there, he backs off.
So, if, as someone who's had the honor of watching Landry and calling a lot of wins in the league that shall not be named, where Landry doesn't have pace, he has the mental fortitude unlike anyone else. He's been in these kinds of positions before where there's, 6, 7 cars breathing down his neck. And what separates the silver guys, what separates the D1 guys from the D2 guys is that ability to have your mirrors full of opposition and not crack under pressure. And Landry has been within about a 10th of his personal best every single lap. I don't even think he's looking up at his rear view mirrors. I think he's just waiting for the spotter to call when there's a car outside. So just being able to stay calm and continue putting solid laps down is the name of the game here. And that's exactly what Michael Landry has been doing so far.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Like when you're in a position on this, you put the car on pole, you're leading, or even makes an overtake on like lap 1 or whatever. Like you're gonna feel so much pressure, but you gotta be calm, and that's exactly what Michael Landry is. What I assume doing is being calm and not cracking under pressure. And that is the key to be consistent. Just stay calm, and it'll all go where it goes. Because it's looking great for Michael Landry. I mean, currently 4/10 in front of Andrew Rados, and if he keeps that pace, he's definitely going to be winning the second round at Coda.
About 5 minutes out from our pit window here. Here is that third best in silver right now. Landon Debris under fire from Peter O'Brien further behind. He's trying to get to the inside of John Laz, back up to the front here.
Sorry.
With Andrew Rados. No, you're doing great. You're
I'm
showing the
telling you.
people what they want.
Every time Rados gets close to Landry and I go look at him, he's like, nah, not going to do it this time.
Somehow he
backs
knows.
up. Yeah, he knows. He knows.
He
doesn't trust
knows
his camera.
Ricky Bobby versus Chester Cheetah here through the pyramids. Actually become a little bit of a breakaway here between both of these guys. I think they're knowing they're getting to the end of the stint here. They're starting to turn up the wick a little bit. Man, yeah, Rados able to absolutely maximize the inside. Here's a look now in the penultimate corner. Almost gets to the bumper there, but a good block thrown there from Landry, but still not close enough. He's right in the draft going up the hill. Are we finally going to see a move? He couldn't get it done 5-6 laps ago. He's going to go for it once again here on the binders into turn number 1. Unable to totally clear him. And Landry able to run all of that momentum on the outside. The apex is not necessarily supreme here. And what that's done is let Landry slingshot out of that corner and set that battle back to ground zero from Andrew Rados. Some brilliant defense here from Michael Landry.
And I saw the times, and Andrew Rados actually was at least a couple tenths quicker on that previous lap than Michael Landry. So clearly Rados is just as a sitting duck behind Michael, but we'll see what their lap times bring this time around. But it seems to be that Andrew Rados does have a bit more speed than Michael does.
Brian Anderson, who was given the cold shoulder earlier on, now just got passed by Simmons, trying to return that position. Bit of a look to the inside. Ran a very, very tight radius there as they work their way down the hill here to the second hairpin. A little bit of confidence I can see on the brakes there from Anderson. In a really, really good corner there. He's able to slip right into the draft here. I want to say the Aston has the straight line advantage here, but compared to the McLaren, it's very, very hard for me to pick a favorite. Side by side now, as Simmons defends to the inside, he'll make Anderson go the long way around. I think maybe went a little bit too late on the brakes. Yes, he did. Simmons goes very, very wide, and that'll give 21st back to Brian Anderson.
Yes, it will. Keep
Ooh, a little
that
bit
eye
of a
on
wiggle up McLaren on Simmons.
So Mercer, who was in P3, has opted to jump into the pits. Perhaps trying to undercut?
It's hard for me to really believe in the undercut here because you're doing that you're doing that for fresh tires, but optimally you're doing it for clean air as well. And with the way this is laid out right now, I just don't think that that's going to be a possibility for you to get out in clean traffic right now. It's hard to find maybe a quarter mile of pavement right now where there isn't someone.
Yeah, actually, like, the traffic plays a role in all that, especially when you get trapped through the S's or anything like that. Yeah, I see the overcut as more or less the better option, just because of those things. And also, there's 36 minutes left in the race, and I'd probably be pitting maybe right at the 30-minute mark, if not maybe a little later by a couple minutes, but
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
yeah. Usually right at the halfway point, but at a track like this, yeah.
Rado's trying to sell another dummy here to the inside, gets back in line. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there on power for Landry, as we are starting to show a little bit of decay here on these Pirelli P0s. The same, though, from Rados as he's got a big slide. Back over to 19th here with Simmons as he's carried that momentum big time. He's under fire, though, from Formato on the outside in that Mustang. We'll try to jam it up the inside here. Anderson and Marchand in front. Can't quite clear him. He forces Simmons to go wide, though, and gets back in line, and a drive-through penalty, it looks like, being given there for Marchand, and you'd have to imagine that's for track limits, guys.
Oh, yeah. He went I was watching him. He went a little bit wide, and now Brian Anderson is like, okay, now you just need to serve your drive-through, and that will be it, because Max Simmons is right on the back end of the diffuser, goes up more wide to get more of that track. Back in hopes of getting closer. Oh,
here he goes.
Make that. There he
looks to the inside of Simmons or Anderson.
Right on the inside, and now it's just a straight line speed battle.
Oh my goodness! From downtown, gets side by side across the stripe.
Not gonna.
Battle of attrition here. Who's gonna be on the binders first?
Simmons
oh, still a dive to the inside from Simmons.
Oh.
Game of inches here. As this is absolutely going to be issues here. I believe that might be Landry behind in that Wonder Bread car.
That, I believe, is Carr. Tyler, I think Tyler Carr? I believe his name is. But he is actually in P46, so he just let them by. I don't know.
No lap traffic. No lap traffic quite yet, but some really, really good battles here.
By the way, so Rados hopped into the pits. And
wanted to mention that, yes.
Is up the back of Landry now.
So out goes second place. In goes Denarde, who's already wasting no time putting that pressure back on Landry. You've got to ask. Here's Rados now way back in 23rd.
So Mercer came out on top of Rados coming out with that whole coming out of the pits. And I believe Mercer was P3 or 4 when he went in. So I guess his undercut worked. Landry hopping in the pits now. Denarte is leading the pack.
Landry, Manperson, Wilson, Dornelis, all following suit. That will give the lead, as Steph mentioned, to Thiago Denarde for the first time for Please Break Turn 1. We'll also promote Anton Rosevich up into second. Manning third. Blanchett up into fourth.
Brian Anderson just entering the pits.
Would love to see where Landry comes out of the pits here and blends, or if we can get a camera on Rados, because this is going to be close. He's through the pyramids right now as we see Anderson now come in for service.
Behind him. There he is.
Rados
Although
back
Mercer
in
is ahead by
23rd.
almost over a second from Rados.
Now goes down the front straightaway here for Rados. How is this going to blend relative to Landry? Landry right at the blend line now, as they are nearly side by side into turn number 1. Rados along the outside has that extra advantage that Landry had earlier on. It took the pit lane and some quick thinking on strategy, but in the net, this will put Andrew Rados to the front of the field.
Sure, Rados is pretty relieved right now, considering Bat was right behind the back diffuser of Michael Landry for a long while. So I am very much 100% positive that Rados loves that he is finally past Michael Landry just by through the pits. Sometimes that's just how it happens. It's not always about on-track battles. Sometimes you just execute your pit lane strategy perfectly, and that's what happens.
So the question is now, we start to see the cracks in Michael Landry. Granted, it wasn't through on-track merit, it was through strategy. Can he still get that silver car to the podium? He's got big pressure here from Søren Manperson behind. And the even bigger question here, can Landry swing back?
Yeah, Landry's got quite a swing to go, because he's got to get Rados and Jeremy, who has quietly snuck into the pit leaders.
Yes, he has. Rosevich, Denarde, Blanchett, and Simmons now coming into the pit as well. Manning leads overall with Omar Escorzia in second, as we've just now passed the halfway point here at Circuit of the Americas. David Mastillo has given us, by the way, an absolutely brilliant show so far tonight. Has driven very, very hard from the start. Has gained, where he's running right now, has gained 27 positions. And has fought tooth and nail. Has not played the strategy game to do so. So some fantastic driving so far from DM.
Mr. Landry,
ooh, trouble
off.
there. No! Oh my goodness, trouble for Landry.
No!
Wings
Oh, was it
in.
contact from someone going out?
Oh!
Yep.
Yes, it was. Oh my goodness, collects the McLaren as well. Oh my goodness, heartbreak for the man from New Brunswick.
New Brunswick mentioned. New Brunswick mentioned.
New Brunswickers in chat, rise up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was sad.
Gone in the Maritimes. Hey?
Oh, what a story that would have been for Michael Landry, the division down, with so much to prove here in SRA.
And he felt well, too. So that, I can only imagine how much he's feeling right now, because after leading for a long while and then losing it into the pits and now losing it entirely, oh, that is heartbreaking. But actually, speaking of heartbreaking, a moment ago through the S's, Guy Manperson and Anton Rushevich were actually going side by side for a little bit, and Guy had to opt to back out. So now is still stuck behind Anton for the time being, but a little bit of a train
Three-car
going on there.
stampede here. We're watching Rushevich, Manperson, Denarde behind is your fastest man on track right now. Purple lap for Jacob Palmieri, the Gabagool Racing 434. as Manning and Escorzia now finally come in to serve their pit stops. So too does Robeson. So we thought Rados was going to sneak that lead as a big dive to the inside here, nearly 3 wide as that Mustang of Manning comes out. 3 wide on the exit of turn number 1 with Manning, Palmieri, and Wilson. Some things out driving. Manning all the way to the outside versus Palmieri.
Very
and a
close.
lift there from Jacob gives that position up. An aggressive join there from Manning keeps himself in single-digit positions. But Palmieri, with a head full of steam, is going to keep looking for real estate to get that AMG through. Wilson and Spangler now joining this party as it's a 5-car freight train here. Everybody battling to get into the top 10.
They definitely are very battling. I know that made
Yes.
They
like
really are.
my
They are
caveman sentence for the week.
Palmieri with another good run here on Manning. A look to the inside now. Tucks back in, might sell it late. We'll see. Here he goes, another pop to the inside. Way down to the inside, though. Goes Manning, forces Palmieri into the long way around. Side by side here. At the end, a little bit of a touch. They bang doors working into the triangles.
That's big.
And now the switchback. Some things out driving here for these two young men.
It's like
Back and
beef.
forth we go.
Oh, it's getting racy now. Couple of contact moments, but no harm, no foul. I mean, racing. But
Done deal.
as long as they keep it clean, any more than that though would result in absolute tragedy. But for now, these two are really racing hard as to their heart's content.
Done deal for Jacob Palmieri. And the Gabagool Racing 434 absolutely might have some beef now with Michael Manning. We will see, though. And Michael Manning, who, by the way, has shown pace all night long, I think is definitely not out of this fight. We'll see where Palmieri can go now. Palmieri goes wide. This will open the door back up to Manning, who lines back up now. Gave him a little bit of optimism as they serpentine through the first sector here. This is where the Mercedes has an advantage. The curbs are flat here, relatively speaking, but you're kind of able to monster truck it so much, especially right there working down the hill. A lot of the front engine cars have that advantage of almost ramping over those sausage curbs. While the Huracan, while incredibly fast, is so knife edge when it comes to uneven surfaces.
I think we're all holding
Gomer
our
Wolf.
breath.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like watching. I'm like,
Gomer
what is
Wilson
gonna happen now?
and Jeff Spengler. I'm convinced we're going to get a dive bomb just like this right here with Landon Drebes getting by Joseph German. McLaren v Porsche here. As a done deal there for Drebes to work himself back up. That is for 5th right now. A net 2nd.
Sherman
As
go
now
on the
side by side,
inside.
3 wide here,
3 wide!
into the turn. Oh my goodness, stone end and heartbreak, boys. Here comes German now to the inside as Drebes goes wide.
Wow, that things escalated pretty quickly there. From 3 wide to now German is still behind, along with Dan Cran, Danny Durant, and Andrew Wilson, and so forth. But wow! But actually, Landon Drebes still manages to keep that position despite all odds. So
Kudos to him.
Team, yeah. After that little squabble.
Some chaotic driving here, absolutely. And we should knock on wood when I say this, but I mean, unfortunately, the only thing where it felt like we really had collateral damage was the Michael Landry incident. And that was, again, due to something that wasn't necessarily his own.
Whoa.
Back and forth we go here. Back in 24th, a big lunge to the inside there
What?
from Fimbres Cassis. forces Laz to go around the outside, as these guys are doing quick weaves inside and outside like it's the United States Grand Prix, like these guys are in Formula One cars.
Yeah, really though. They're racing it like true Americans. Bold as bold can be around the Texan track. That really screams American, and Eagles and everything. Everything that's American up here in Canada.
Yes.
Goose, Moose, and Tim Hortons.
Did you say? I haven't been to Canada. Timbits is still absolutely on the bucket list. And
Yes.
hopefully I'll be in Toronto for IndyCar. Should game plan abide. So
Yes, Toronto is the hub. If you are into exotic spotting, then that is. There are so many exotic cars in Toronto now. It's unbelievable. Like not even just Toronto, but like Southern Ontario. Like I used to live there, and annually I go there, and I'll be going back there this June. But there, no matter where you are, there's just supercars. Like it's crazy, and it's awesome. Miss that place occasionally, but yeah.
Yeah. Another
Ontario.
Mustang battle we were watching right here with Omar Escorzia and Peter O'Brien. Escorzia cleared him relatively quickly, as finally now it looks like, yes, Austin Carpenter and that GTR finally comes into pit lane. That will finally give that lead to Jeremy Mercer, who turned on the wick there to clear him, but is definitely not out of the woods yet, as Andrew Rados with the purple lap is right on his tail once again with 20 minutes to go here in round 2.
And Rados is a pretty fast guy. He's going to put the pressure on Mercer the entire way. I have no doubt. By the way,
Speaking
Selena,
of fresh, oh yes.
how are you spared the some of these typical Canadian accent points?
Yes. The
I'm
accent.
disappointed.
Yes, I should have actually. Don't
Yeah,
you
there
know?
you go.
I mean, right in Nova Scotia. Or if you want
Letterkenny is an accurate
you
depiction
know?
of your people, yes?
The French Canadian, you see? Haha. I only speak English, believe it or not, but
No, I just
in New
need a few
Brunswick,
A's. A few
yeah.
A's and a... Yeah, no, yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, no, don't you know? It's actually funny. Like I am not the one. Like as Canadian as I am, I don't normally say A, and it's interesting. But there are a bunch of Canadians who do say A, of course. Like I've been surrounded by lots, obviously.
Yeah.
But some of us do. Some of us don't.
Okay, I always enjoy it when it comes out, so you know.
Yeah, it reminds me when I went to, I'll make it quick, but when I went to the first time at Watkins Glen 2 years ago, I went with my family, and my aunt was talking to a guy, and she ended up saying A, and then the American guy, he's like, oh, I miss it, I missed hearing that, the A. Oh man. But
Battle
as for the
between-
entertainment, I will try to
Yep.
stay A.
There we go.
Third
There we
in
go. It's actually on your contract, Selena. Watching
Yep,
the battle
starting
here.
right now.
Watching the battle here as the beef continues between Michael Manning and Jacob Palmieri, as he was turning the wick up and trying to clear him, but Thiago Denarde has kind of been a roadblock here. Everybody's still bunching up from about fourth or third back. Rados and Mercer a break off right now, but the 747 of Mr. Sir has kind of been the head of this freight train for about 5, 6, 7 cars. So everybody's still with plenty of opportunities here. And a really, really great drive here from Jacob Palmieri. 5 positions gained thus far. That's more than anybody else in the top 10, although Mercer and Rosevic both up 4 respectively. So some big, big drives forward here for your storylines. By the way, should still not be too much heartbreak for Michael Landry, who's
Right.
still leading overall in silver right now. As I say that, though, he's under fire big time from Landon Drebs as well as Joseph German right now. As that battle's going on, what you got here, Steph?
Well, I just saw him do
hello.
something funny, and I wanted to see what that funny was. So
that funny is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, we need that.
okay. I
Oh,
go
a
back
little
to
bit
Landon.
of a tap. I think, from what I saw, Landon tapped a little bit of the back end of Michael Landry.
Here he goes. Look
Side
to
by
the inside
side.
here.
Help up.
We know that Porsche's got the weight on the back wheels. It can get the traction down, but Antoine Landry, with the confidence on the inside, will force him to go the long way around. It still might not be enough. A big lunge to the outside here. A Hail Mary to hold on to that lead. It's not enough, and he's thrown to the wolves now as here comes Joseph German to the inside on the final corner. This might allow Cran to go through for 19th.
Oh.
2 positions lost, and up to the front now in 15th will be Landon Drebs, who leads in silver. Battle continues here. Landry not out of the woods yet.
Things are really shaking up, eh?
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Thank you.
Oh,
I
you know?
appreciate it.
You're
Landry
welcome.
Landry going wide. Cran looking for an opportunity to serpentine through. Andrew Wilson with a seat at the table as well. And in just a matter of seconds, the silver lead goes down to third on the silver podium for Michael Landry. With still 15 minutes to go, a comeback drive will have to be postponed as he's still holding off both Dan Cran and Andrew Wilson.
Jumping up ahead, Rushevic and Mr. Sir.
Oh, hello. Oh, a little bit of contact there. They banged doors
Oh.
into the triangle section. Side by side, once again, almost a carbon copy of what we just saw for the podium battle in silver.
Oh, Mr. Sir squeezes right through. Anton having to follow right behind. Oh, actually, Guy Manperson getting into the mix as well. Just 3/10 behind Anton Rushevic.
I mean, when you go side by side for a couple corners at a time, it checks everybody up.
Oh,
and it
yes.
gives a lot of people big opportunities.
It really does.
So
You
it
lose
looks-
a lot of time. Yep.
Side by side racing. Really fun. Looks really cool. Not really optimal for race results or if you're trying to work your way to the front of the field. Some confidence on
minute.
brakes. Here comes Rusevich all the way to the inside
Ooh.
with no regard for human life. Anton Rusevich gets back on the loud pedal, hangs it around the outside after a massive dive bomb, and gets himself back onto the podium.
Fantastic racing. As we love to see it.
Mr. Sir is not done with him.
No, not at all.
No, definitely not at all. He's flashed his lights. He's like, nope, I'm still
No.
here, and I'm not leaving.
Do we think that's like a well-played headlight flash or like a you are trying to get me killed kind of headlight flash?
That's a good
What?
question.
Yeah, that is a good.
Who knows?
Put a bookmark on that, depending on who ends up on that podium at the end of the race. We can ask the question.
Yeah. Curious.
Ooh, trouble for Diego Paul Fimbres Casas, who's in the wall there in the 24, was also given a drive-through penalty. And I'm not sure if this was a rage quit. It's a rage quit.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh, Diego.
Oh no.
And track
Diego.
limits strike once again back to the front of the field here as Jeremy Mercer continues to feel the pressure from Andrew Rados as we look in fifth here with Guy Manperson. You can call it a Lamborghini on Mustang sandwich right now with Rusevich, Sir, and Manperson.
This one is Menning and Palmieri, who have been.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. it's
It's
Yeah,
literally,
it's
if you look at the top 10, it's two Lambos and all Mustangs, so it's hard
Yep.
for me to tell.
I
Palmieri
yeah.
has the-
That night.
Paul- The swing back, though, from Michael Manning has been loading for a couple laps. There might be another Hail Mary to the inside here. Not quite yet. But, ooh, a little bit of contact there, maybe to the front of Michael Manning. Such good battling here, no matter where you look, guys.
They are. These two have had beef for this whole second half of the race. Can't speak for the first half. I don't remember it.
I mean, it's hard to track anything when there's, 50 people battling here.
Oh,
Ooh, big wiggle up ahead there.
Ooh.
Diego
Landry
Denarde
back
is
here.
watching. Yep.
Cran.
Oh, Dan Cran, on the move.
Oh.
So Landry got that spot back from Dan, but he's got a couple more to catch Drebs and maybe get that silver spot back.
Wilson, Danny Durance, Kurt Linné, and others with a head full of steam still behind Michael Landry.
Ooh. So
And getting
Rados-
yourself... Yep.
Rados, I'll tell you, every time I go up here, because they're getting close, they decide to just back it off.
I think it's setting up for the last 5 minutes here, Steph. Just
They
staying
are.
on the bumper and staying in contention.
Yeah.
I think Selena might be able to offer some knowledge on this as well, but you don't necessarily want to give yourself that opportunity for the other guy to kind of make a move back. You kind of want it to be a one and done.
Yeah.
So kind of matching the timing up perfectly. If you know you have the pace, making sure that you can stick it and not give that other guy the opportunity to swing back.
Oh yeah, for sure. You really gotta be careful and always watch it. Speaking of always watching though, Dan Cran is still stuck behind, and that train has really come together as Michael still struggles to keep at front.
Canada's Minister of Defense right now doing everything he can
Yes.
to hold off Cran, Wilson, and Durance. He was doing the exact same earlier on with the gold guys up front. He's doing it again now. So business as usual for the Race Forge Mustang. Good run here, though, from Cran. We'll have a look to the inside, but goes early on the anchors and backs out. A big dive, though, further back from Andrew Wilson. It was now gotten right to the rear bumper of that BMW of Cran. Ten minutes to go here from Circuit of the Americas. Mercer over Rados, Rusevich, Sir, Manperson, Denarde, Palmieri, Manning, Wilson, and Spangler. Your top 10 as we are watching the battle here for Dan Cran trying to work his way past Michael Landry. Trouble further back there as Danny Durance went wide and is now being thrown to John Laz and others further back. Ooh, a big look again to the inside there.
He's looking. He's trying to. Oh, a little bit of a touch on that triangle curb. Wilson just behind, just waiting for that mistake by Dan Cran. So
Goes to the middle.
straight.
Wilson responds, looking for any real estate. He can jam that McLaren 720 through. A little bit late on the brakes now for Dan. This will open up the door for Andrew Wilson, who will sail on by. So now the Purple Cobra machine will get an opportunity to see what he has against Michael Landry in the Mustang.
Oh, Danny Durant and Laz going duking it out just a little bit with Kurt LeMay into the mix. A little bit of a touch by that looks like it. No harm, no foul. Two cars still going on track. Still
Throwing
racing.
doors. That battle started earlier on, guys, when Durance went wide. He was a part of that freight train with Landry and Wilson. Ooh, major contact further back there. The beef continues, people. And a big headlight flash.
He
Ooh, a reverse card from Gomer Wilson, from Jacob Palmieri. And another you could argue maybe a taste of his own medicine there for Jacob Palmieri in a major dive bomb for Manning. He's continued that momentum. Now he's trying to clear Thiago Denarde for 6th.
Yeah, it looked like Denardi was holding up Palmieri quite a bit. As he was quite close and just gave Manning the chance to get in there and, well, he kind of forced his way through.
Denardi a little bit late on the brakes once again. But now already half a second over Palmieri. And I know that Palmieri wants to get that position back more than anyone else. A guy that has driven very emotionally, but very controlled. Not in a sporadic way at all, but uses that as a way to fuel him. In an initial D gum tape death match kind of way, shall we say. For Takumi, not for Shingo. Not he does not drive like Shingo. Promise.
All right, these guys bunched up yet again. Landry, Wilson,
Ooh, hello.
Fran.
This is exactly what Landry wants right now as Cran tries to clear Wilson once again. Over-under opportunity here for Cran. A little bit of a wiggle there. I think there might have been a little bit of netcode involved there. And they line back up once again for 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Nice and behaved. We'll take a look back up at the front with Mercer and Rados as Rados continues to... I don't know what you want to call it. He's like a little shark back there just waiting for Mercer to give him a chance.
Cat and mouse game at the front of the field. A Mustang 1, 2, 3, but who's going to be the top pony? Rados, I think, is getting into that crunch time. He's stayed within half a second of Mercer for the past couple of laps. And again, you look back to the start, the opening half of this race, and it felt like a heavyweight fight between Mercer and Rados. But Mercer just stayed in the wings, executed, and timed his pit stop absolutely perfectly. And as Rados got a little bit checked up, and with Mercer getting involved, or excuse me, with Landry getting involved in an incident of his own, Mercer has quietly gotten to the front of the field and stayed there. So what can Andrew Rados do to maybe take that lead back?
I think that's what he's thinking too.
Drebs, German, and Landry still your podium in the silver division, and regardless of whether Cran and Wilson clear him, he'll still have that third place spot. And those two, by the way, have absolutely taken off from Landry 7 seconds up the road.
Yeah, Drebs really took off. He had I believe, a rough first half of the race, unfortunately for him, but really has recovered very well.
So your biggest mover of the day, though, so far, if we threw the checkered right now, would be Timothy Flaminger, as going the long run absolutely paid off for the Alpha Sim Sport driver, was the last to bring his GTR in, rolled off the grid in 49th, running 23rd, so 26 positions gained there for the 991. Not out of the woods yet, though, as he's got Eric Marecki on his rear view wing, but still plenty to drive for, and still a brilliant drive here from Flaminger. Back to the front of the field here as Rados keeps looking for opportunities. You've got a handful of really good places to get it done. Let's go. Yep, let's go back up to 18th here with Wilson.
These guys have given us quite a show tonight.
A little bit of a tap, actually, from Andrew Rados and Jeremy Mercer, just feeling that from the rear end, like, he's still there. And he, in fact, is still there, eh?
Wants to give him the bump and run. Another A in the cookie jar.
There you go. Count it in. Count it in.
I'm liking the confidence, Selena, on the brakes from Wilson, because I think there's a little bit of dirty tricks being played by Landry right now to just kind of stand on the brakes and kind of park it on the apex. But Wilson is able to just carry that momentum and get right to the bumper, but not quite make contact. Maybe just a little bit of a love tap. I was saying there wasn't any silver threats here for Landry. That could change right now, as you can see that McLaren, that Joker-colored McLaren at the back of this battle. That's the 72 of Danny Durant, as a look to the inside here from Cran.
Ooh.
Can't quite get it there.
Hopping back up to Rados and Mercer, as Rados really looks like maybe he's going to put the pressure on for real now.
I think we should stay on this battle, absolutely, as these two probably have maybe one more lap at most to get it done here.
And
So most likely, yep, white flag next time by, more than likely, as a really good opening corner there from Rados. Got right to the bumper of Mercer. You got a handful of opportunities here to get a move done. And as they work their way out of the S's and back down the hill, this is going to be an opportunity. Don't think we could see a dive bomb, though. Not quite in striking distance just yet for Andrew Rados. Oh, trouble for 7th place. Michael Manning gets a drive-through.
Oh, no.
Track limit strikes another.
Oh,
and it's one of the
that's
Lambos.
big.
In the battle.
And taps. Who is that? Oh, Denarte gets tapped from Michael Manning. Oh, what such impeccable timing with that drive-through. And then, there is a car in front, and unfortunately gets the worst end of it. Oh,
Might need to get a replay of that later on, as Denarde got involved with that also somehow. But the big beef between Palmieri and Manning ends with a drive-through penalty for the 18 Lambo, as we're going to have one more shot for the other major duel between NWSR's Andrew Rados and TSE's Jeremy Mercer.
Not sure he's going to do it. 30 seconds left. They're coming down the final straight finish here in short order.
White flag out. We're going to have one more trip around Austin to try and see if Andrew Rados can get that lead from Jeremy Mercer. A good run up the hill. Are we going to see a dive bomb? We are! Here comes Rados to the inside. This will open the door for a switchback, though. Mercer takes that spot right back.
That's close. Man, that's really close, but it's all or nothing on this final lap, and this is the decider on who actually claims P1. But so far, it seems to be Jeremy Mercer, but Andrew Rados is not afraid to take any chances whatsoever. As he gets
momentum here, nearly makes contact again. Sorry, Selena.
Yeah, no worries.
As nearly again making contact. That actually checks up Rados and lets them give a little bit more cushion here for Jeremy Mercer. We'll have another opportunity at a dive bomb. Can close the gap, but isn't able to get to the bumper. And you've got to think, if you're Jeremy Mercer, you're expecting another major shot to the inside here from Rados. It's going to take courage. What are we going to see? Back onto the binders. Here comes Mercer. Still can't quite clear it. It's going to take some creativity here on the lines, working through the pyramids.
Oh, just a few corners left. Just a few.
Pretty much out of opportunities here, guys. It's going to take a mistake or a very big lunge here in the final heavy braking zone.
It looks like Jeremy Mercer has it. It looks like it. The final corner.
Out of opportunities here for Jeremy Mercer and Rados. Mercer, the absolute underdog tonight. The quiet guy ends up to the front. It's Jeremy Mercer taking victory in race 2 here in Austin. Rados takes third, Rusevich in third, Mr. Sir comes home in fourth. I keep saying first. Guy Manperson in 5th. And in silver, battle still heating up. A couple of opportunities here, but it won't be enough. As for Lion Speed X Herberth, with heavy fire from Joseph German. It won't be enough for the Porsche. It's Landon Drebes taking that victory for Porsche in 14th, but first in silver. Wow.
Landry's personal train with Dan Cran in front now.
So Cran ultimately being able to clear him.
Yep.
Wow.
Simmons, Martin, and Muffy.
What
Yeah.
a race.
Wow. Yeah.
But actually, it's not over as Marchand and Arnold going side by side through Sector 3. Carney Arnold. Carney has the sticks it out on the outside. Marchand trying to get on the inside, but still has the outside, but not gonna make it on as he's on the outside. Not enough grip. Slides a little bit.
Car trying to hang it to the outside. Another lunge here as the over-unders. That BMW trying to be made as wide as possible by Kerry Arnaud for SRT. Running out of opportunities. A big slide further back there from Ty Carr. And a battle won there by Marchand. Further up ahead, I was looking at this. Tyler Carr and Jorge Blasini Rivera going at it as well. As we finally see everyone across the checkered flag. I want to hear no Circuit of the Americas slander ever again, because that was just an absolute banger. I want none of it.
I will definitely give you that. It was.
Yeah. No, that was incredible. D1 really put on a big show, and we were definitely entertained. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what, guys. I get so scared when I start commentating top level sim stuff, because like, yeah, the amateurs crash a lot, but they're close on skill. It's always fun racing, and you know, sometimes the pro guys are like Guitar Heroing the tracks, so they spread out, but it felt like no matter where you looked here over the course of an hour, people were side by side and throwing haymakers. We had some really, really good overtaking, some really big beef developments here between Palmieri and Manning, and I'm sure that's going to open up as a storyline for the remainder of the season. I think you absolutely need to look out for Michael Landry and what he can do, because he's a silver guy, but he's absolutely driving like a gold right now. So a lot of stories to get us open for the rest of the season. We're still doing this for like 7 more weeks? How lucky are we?
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
So we have
Racing never stops.
silver was gotten by Landon Drebes, correct?
Yep.
Yism.
Okay. I'm working on this then. All right. All right, we're going to get some of these guys in for interviews, but I noticed that Landon has his mic off, so there we go. We're going to
just drag him in here, and then if he's unmuted, he's unmuted, and then we can ask him a question. And if he says nothing, it's awkward
Landon,
silence, and
congratulations!
we'll deal with it.
Yo!
Congrats, Landon, on the silver win.
And welcome back to
Joined
the
now,
booth.
joined now by your silver winner, Landon Debris. Landon, I mean, it felt like Landry's day all night long, but obviously a big switch of pace for you and a little bit of luck. It obviously was not easy there with that battle with German. Talk to me about your battle and your race.
Oh my gosh, it was a physical race, to say the least. Starting from T1, I picked up a little bit of damage there, and then from then on, it was just about survival. I had to make some moves against some of those Mustangs, and yeah, that battle with that Ferrari, Germain, it was a bit dicey at times, needless to say, but it was some fun racing. I am beat. You know, the track coda, it's all about track limits, but for me, it kind of felt like it was about more personal limits and what we were willing to push to make a move. But I couldn't be happier. The silver win, something I've been chasing for a while. Yeah, this coda, I love this place. It's my favorite track. And so I'm happy I was able to get it done.
I feel like this track is so divisive amongst drivers and anyone who's covered this. And it can be a love-hate relationship, absolutely.
For sure.
I'll say this: were you expecting the track tonight to be this level of competitive, to be this racy, to have this many opportunities to open up different lines?
Certainly, yeah. D1's always the creme de la crop, or whatever, however that saying goes. My brain's fried. But so they're always gonna have battles, even no matter where you're at. I'm not actually sure what happened to Landry up front, but whenever I saw him come out the pits right in front of me, I got a bit of the sniff, and a bit of the sniff of the win, and I really wanted it. So happy to able to make it work at least, and we'll see if we can carry this momentum onto the next one.
A solid start to your season. What does this win do for you mentally with momentum for the rest of the season?
Yeah, certainly it level sets you. Like I said, this is something I've been chasing for forever. So, hopefully it's what we need to maybe bring one of these championship home. It's been a while. I've been even in the booth talking to you guys, so it feels nice to be fighting on the pointy end of one of these grids. I'm excited for what the season has to hold for sure.
For silver win for Landon Drebes. Anything else you guys got here?
No, just want to let Landon know it's nice to have him in the booth again, even just for a few seconds.
For sure. Thanks for keeping the seat warm, guys.
Not a problem.
Missed you all.
Yeah, we missed you too. But congratulations on the silver win. I'll let you go hang out with your guys down there. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to quick?
Oh gosh, I used to have a whole script ready for these moments, but now since Ghost Rider Racing is no more, I just want to shout out, I guess, SRA and all of y'all for putting this on, and my teammate Kurt for being one of the few that were on the Porsches here in D1, and I'm glad we were able to put on the show in it.
Awesome. Well, it was a fantastic show. Thank you very much.
Yep. Take care, guys. Thanks.
You too.
See ya.
All right. So I have a really bad memory. 1D P3. Who was our P3 podium?
Well, it doesn't help because race control leaves immediately after, and it doesn't save the results, which I wish it did.
Yeah, I usually take a screenshot.
Oh yeah,
but
I do the same too.
And
we want to hear. I think
Mercer...
maybe we should hear from.
Anton, Mercer, and Rados. Okay, so Mercer and Rados were 1 and 2. Anton would have been 3. All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Drizzle the guy. Okay.
Chat coming in clutch.
Yeah, I know, right? This is the first time I didn't get a screenshot. Somebody left the race like immediately. I knew it was all wrong. Let's see. We are here. Hello, Anton, and congratulations on P3.
Thank you.
So how was it out
Anton,
there?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was tough. It was so tough. Yeah, dude, I'm sweating so much right now. I need to get up, walk around, have a nice stretch.
I can imagine.
Yeah, coming out of the pits, it was so scary because I thought the overcut would be good, and it turned out it was good. I was gonna do opposite to whatever Guy did because I felt like I had some pace there, like towards the beginning and half of the stint, and then it kind of just unfolded pretty much perfectly. I think there were a few, 2 cars that got tangled up in turn 1 after I got out of the pits, 2 free positions. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take that. And I guess I don't know. I feel like Mr. Sir was managing some track cuts, maybe just the raw sheer power of the Mustang in the back straight helped me catch up, and we had a nice tussle in the third sector, and I was able to get past.
Yeah, it felt, Anton, like none of you guys were able to necessarily break loose and kind of find clean air. It felt like everyone was bunched up the whole time. Did that kind of act as a motivator that you always had guys to battle with, or was that something that maybe upped the anxiety for you?
I think for me, it was just about staying as close as possible, especially because the car in front of me in the first stint was the same car that I was driving. So realistically, I was never going to get past. We're both strong in the same spots on the track. So it was just all about managing the pace where I needed to, namely in sector 1 and 3, and I was able to do that. And then once the pit stops started going, it was just pandemonium. It was crazy. I was worrying that maybe I would come out in blue flag traffic or just cars that haven't pit yet, and I would be held up, but I played it. I was patient. and was able to pit at the perfect time, I suppose, and I was able to get Guy.
Very good.
Really, really great drive from you,
Congratulations.
Anton.
Indeed, yeah.
Any shout outs you got here before we cut you loose?
I want to give a shout out to my teammate Omar for just moral support for not getting the 4th track cut, because that would have completely ruined my mood for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Just want to shout out my dad for watching these races along with my girlfriend. You guys are my best supporters. I can never thank you enough for watching this, and I want to thank SRA for just hosting this stuff. This is awesome. Love everybody here. So, cheers.
Cheers. And again, congratulations for that P3 podium finish tonight.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hold on. I'll get you in a second. What?
You're doing great. There we go.
I forgot how to do my
There
job
we
for
go.
a
We
second.
go.
Well, no, I was trying to
feel that.
find Rados.
Oh,
Well, was Mercer in second?
I don't see Rados.
I see him.
Wait, you do?
Let me get him in here.
Oh, he must be in a different chat. I was looking at D1, D2 chat.
Yeah, it was the same. Well, Mercer, yes. Congratulations, Jeremy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Joined
That
now by
was-
Jeremy Mercer. Second place finish. I know that wasn't the result you wanted.
No,
I won.
he won.
Oh my God, Lambros.
I was just like, wait.
That's okay. I think we all had our moment this stream.
The scuff
Oh,
adds
man.
character.
Love it.
Steph, you got this interview. Go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit in the corner for a second.
Jeremy, awesome job. The last, almost have it, that race was probably pretty intense for you. And you had the perfect pit stop of the entire race, giving you that P1.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to be able to get into the lead, but battling up at the front brought them back close to me, and I realized an undercut could get me in front of the group of them if they didn't also pit when I did, and it worked perfectly. But then, of course, I had to defend someone who seemed slightly faster.
That's okay, as long as they stay behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done this before with Rados behind me. This one was a little easier, I think, because he wasn't, I guess, drafting and sending it onto me every lap. It was just some laps. But,
We saw that almost the second to last lap of the last one where he did that massive dive.
Yeah, the second to last lap on the last corner, I made a bit of a mistake, and he was right on my tail. And I decided that if he sends it up on the inside, I'll probably just be able to get the undercut, and that worked pretty well too. But yeah, if someone sends it up that hard on the inside, just stay on the brakes and wait for them to clear you, and then you have the apex, and it worked perfectly. So
Yeah, it's a pretty intense point in that race. We all enjoyed the show, so thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Great job. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to here?
my teammate Peter O'Brien for, I guess, being the last TSE member that still races with me.
Aw.
Been that way for a while, but we're going strong, and still do quite well in the team champs. I guess we didn't win last season, but we've won a lot of them at this point. So obviously that's good teamwork. So
That is good teamwork. Well, again, congratulations. It's a great race. I'm sure you're exhausted. That had to be pretty tough.
yeah, it gets a little tiring.
All right. Well,
wrestling that car around the track.
all that battling.
Well, I'll send you back down to the guys, and I think it's just guys down there this time. And congrats. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All
Trying
right.
to find Rados, and I actually cannot see him.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
in the process of messaging him or pinging him to try to get him in here. But some of these guys, they just don't like to chat very much.
That's fair.
So unfortunately, I don't think we're getting him this evening. And that'll be that. But we will look quick at the calendar to see where we are next week. Now that Coda is out of the way, it is everybody's favorite track, Netterton.
I don't know if I'd say favorite when it comes to polar opposites. I mean, you can't go for more of a opposite direction from Coda than Snetterton. It's tight, it's technical. If you don't have a car that eats curbs for breakfast, you're gonna struggle.
Yep.
The curb eaters shall be first, and the mid-engine cars shall be in hell. Selena.
Oh man, and the rear end cars too.
Snetterton. I do.
No, it's an awesome. It is an. It's like Nürburgring for me. It's an awesome track to drive to hot lap. It is miserable for racing for me. And GT4s, it's awesome. GT3s.
On the note of that, I will mention yet again and again that instead of Snetterton, imagine the Nordschleife instead. That would be amazing.
50 people, Selena.
Do we get in 1 hour?
Just the Nordschleife, yes.
And 50 people would start, and then maybe 25. I'm saying 50% of that field sees checkered.
You're being optimistic that 50 people will actually show
maybe.
Yeah. Oh, there's a little Nordschleife fan club. I know who you are.
I'll tell you what, though, Spa's going to be exciting. Spa's going to be exciting. Hungaro Ring in the wet. I think that's going to be a really interesting combination.
Yep.
Red Bull Ring, if you guys thought Coda was good for wheel-to-wheel racing, Red Bull Ring on the 13th. Stay tuned, phone a friend. That's going to be an absolute banger.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Onto Barca with some dynamic conditions a little bit.
And that's
then
new, too.
We crown, yes, it is. And then we go on to crown a champion here at Imola.
Woo-hoo. So, yeah, definitely join us again next week here. And also, we have racing tomorrow night. Same time, same channel for the D2 division. Over on YouTube, you will find D4 and D6 being streamed. And you can go back and revisit D3 and D5 from this evening on YouTube also. They just won't be live anymore. They were. They're not now.
But you can still watch it, and at least there's that. So, I mean, there's more racing. The more, the better, eh?
Hey.
There we go.
I just said one last one for the stream.
One for the road.
One for the road. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to throw up our lovely sponsor ads that somebody went through and made it really nice for you guys, so you didn't have to just listen to us drone on. And we will see you guys next week.
See you.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.